I'm very uncomfortable with the energy that we've created in the studio today.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me. This is RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 9, which, if the number didn't make me nervous, the name would. So I think it's pretty safe to assume we're going to see Salem. That in the description says that we check in on John, Ren, and Yang. I did get a little bit spoiled for this one, despite the fact that it's Monday, because people have been uploading clips of it to YouTube, and instead of doing that fun thing where they're like, RWBY spoiler before the actual thing, someone just flat out uploaded a video that was like, Salem Fight Part 2, and the thumbnail was Yang punching someone. I didn't see who it was, I just saw Yang punching in the title, and I literally saw it in the process of making my other video live, so I'm a little miffed, if you can't tell. I don't think it's a big spoiler. I did see it. I literally stay off like all social media during this time. I saw some people saying that Emerald did something TM. I don't know anything else. I would say I'm afraid, because I am, but I'm at the point where like I've just resigned that things are going to hell. That shit's gonna get fucked, that people are probably gonna die. I've literally just been listening to Trisha's lullaby from FMAB, just like, well, this may as well happen. I may as well cry. Let's just do it. Yeah. Ugh. I had this song stuck in my head all day, and the full version isn't out, so I was just sad. We said goodbye to all the things we loved. Gave up our lives just to find that it was not enough. In pain, left our solitude, our carefree peace. What we thought would change the world was just a childish dream. We failed to stop our own demise, and tragic end before our eyes has no place here. Maybe the path that leads our way home is finally clear. Maybe the end we tried to avoid is already here. Ugh. I hope they meet up soon. I would really love for Yang and RWBY to, you know, meet at some point. This bitch just stole someone. But we'll never ever die. Choose the wrong side. I know some people think that RWBY is going to be put in a hound, especially because of that shot, but I honestly, I can't see that happening. I can't even really see it, like, starting to happen. I think that is just kind of symbolism there, being pulled down by grief, because RWBY's mental breakdown is coming in, like, any moment. Any 2 episodes, really. Oh, hi, Tacos. You're here early. You know, I'm gonna be real. I miss the Scorpion Grim. I miss them. The Deathstalkers, I miss them. I vibe with that shit. I just realized that his boot covers latch over his shoes.
That was harrowing.
We're not in the clear yet. We still have to search this whole thing and find Oscar before the Aesops blow us to pieces.
How are we
Great!
supposed to find Oscar? It's going to be like finding a needle in a
Whale.
giant whale. Why did we think this was a good idea?
Yeah, I'm with Yang.
I might be able to help.
Do it! Do it! Sense him!
Spikes of people's emotions, I think. It happened on Winter's ship. If I focus my aura, I can keep it up.
Okay, that's new. Maybe one of them is Oscar?
I can sort of tell where they are, but not who. They're more or less in the same area, though. Further in.
Of course.
Hey, you don't have to drain yourself. I can help too.
Yeah, good thinking. Thanks.
Well, lead the way.
Griffin McElroy, I am uncomfortable with the energy that we have created in the studio. Oh, I love the musical track. Taco, please.
Brushed off her bumps and bruises. For nothing hurt worse than the loneliness in her chest.
I recognize that. The girl who fell through the world.
I shouldn't be surprised you're so familiar with fairy tales.
I've lived through my share of them.
You are your fair share of them.
I I thought the idea of falling through Remnant into a new world was exciting. I never understood why she was so sad when she finally made it back home. But now, it makes more sense.
She wasn't the same girl anymore.
Yeah.
I think this plan to divide might have run its course. It's time we start thinking about a way out. Not having arcane certainly limits the options, so...
No.
So does not being able to
I don't know
move.
What happens when we use magic? Every time we use it, I can feel us merging faster.
Baby
I'm
boy.
not ready for that.
Baby boy.
I don't blame you. Honestly, I think you're doing just fine on your own.
Yeet!
Listen up, everyone.
Neon!
LZ clear for the payload. We're going to put aboard that thing. If we can't hold this line, it will continue to spit out Grim and we lose the city. Is that understood?
Yes, ma'am.
See?
You wouldn't happen to know a tune for this, huh?
I don't know that anybody does.
Another wave incoming.
Seeing them in Atlas armor
But they're just kids.
is really jarring.
Hash out your issues later.
Oh, fuck off!
Just kill Grim.
Taco, really? This is a good episode already.
Why did you bring me here?
I've been thinking about what you said. If it's a lie, and I took that lie to Salem, the punishment would fall on my head before yours. If what you said is true, and I use the password myself, well, I don't know what happens when this thing activates. So let's see if you're bluffing.
You want me to summon her?
Either way, it'll tell me what I need to know.
What are you doing?
Are you defecting, son?
Let's find out.
Wait, no, that's someone my cat.
Jin.
Emerald's just like, big lesbian.
Why, hello again, old man. Did you have a question for me?
Actually, I think all my questions are answered now.
What are you going to do?
What Gretchen would have done. And that starts with getting you away from here.
What the fuck?
Both of you.
I'm going to need something before I go.
So, just to be clear, none of you have a question for me?
No, but we'll be bringing you with us.
The moment we move that thing, this place goes on high alert. Better to get you out first.
But...
I'll come back for it. Not like she knows the password anyway.
Okay, I thought I was gonna... Oh!
Sorry.
It's not your fault.
Ew.
I'm masking and tracking at the same time.
Do you guys need a minute?
We don't know how much longer we have. Why don't you give masking a break? Give me directions and I can scout ahead.
Thanks. We should be heading straight for a while.
His little smile.
Well, at least you guys being friends again takes the sting out of impending doom.
It's okay to be afraid, you know.
Yay!
You don't always have to hide it with a joke.
Glad I'm not the only one who's scared.
Of course I'm scared. Him, on the other hand,
Nope.
there's no fear at all. I can see it. He believes we're going to get this done.
Then I do too.
Vasquez, Ren.
You sure he'll be okay on his own?
I don't know. We just need to get... Wait.
Why are you being suspicious?
Hey, Joel. Have you gotten what we need yet? The Seers. It seems we have guests. The lamp. Find them.
Jojo posing bitch over here. I was wondering how low their auras were.
Let's do what we do best. Charge blindly into danger.
Would have gone with keep moving forward, but sure. Ren?
Forward. No matter what.
I think Jean has officially become a himbo. Oh, squad!
How much longer for the
The sheer chaos of all of it.
Come on, Juan.
You.
No! Wait! Stop!
Oscar!
He's injured.
I knew I sensed some weak minds nearby.
What's going on?
Hi, Zuko here.
It's a long story.
You're gonna have to try and summarize it.
Hold her back.
Why should we trust you?
Because she's scared. Just like us.
There's a bomb
Or
coming.
maybe because I know how to get out of here. Anybody coming?
I really do love Winter's getup, but that's gonna be
This is it, everyone.
hell to make.
We're gonna clear a path to that monster. We get the payload aboard, set the timer, and then we're out.
But they might still be alive in there.
I gave them their window. We can't wait any longer.
Would you say the same thing if it was your sister inside? Are you gonna tell her what you did to her friends?
Yes, Mara. Because that's my duty. Now you do yours.
She has an iPad. I know that's not what I'm supposed to be focusing on, but I'm trying to ignore the pain.
We're almost out.
Neo! Okay, at this point, I think you can jump. I think at this point, you can afford to jump.
What is that?
It's her.
It's just like find. What the hell? Busted!
You really have been honing that semblance of yours.
That's the screenshot I saw. The thumbnail. Oh, I hate that.
Let them go!
Detach your arm! He's willing to merge just for the sake of protecting them. Oh! Huh!
What did you do with the lamp?
Nothing.
All these
missing.
Is it?
Where is it?
I didn't do anything with it.
Where is it?
You don't have a lie detector? You have all these powers, you can't tell if someone's lying?
Look how you've diminished. How you've lessened yourself. And for what? These children? This ruined world?
Your escapes.
Why do you keep coming back?
Why do you?
Yang!
All of this endless death. Because something bad happened to you once upon a time?
Oh!
Nobody gets a fairy tale ending. Everything I've lost, every person I've lost, is because of you.
And who is it I've taken from you, girl?
Summer Rose. My mom.
Her again?
Your Grace.
Ah, Hazel. I found our guests.
Her again, interesting.
This one was helping them. Take the boy back to his chamber. I have work to do with this one.
Yes, of course.
Just like Gretchen. Just like Gretchen.
No more Gretchens, boy.
I really don't know.
Yo, he's gonna die, right? So he's dead? So he's dead, right? Just jump off the whale. Just jump off the whale. What is with all the beefcakes and RWBY taking off their shirts when they fight? Gira, now Hazel.
Hazel.
Go.
Yeah, he's dead.
So you've decided against
That's a
vengeance for your sister.
nice
after
finger
all
pose.
this time.
It's your fault they're...
I'm doing what Gretchen would have done.
Save Martha! Huh! This feels like a near boss, and I think it's just because she's throwing all those balls. Interesting. Holy shit! That wasn't... Y'all move! This is not the time, Emerald! So Neo took the lamp.
Come on, everyone, out! Wait, Oscar?
She'll just come after us.
You can't kill her! You just... Gross. Grody. Was that because of him? Oscar, you are literally the one she wants! Magic. They're gonna cut it here, aren't they, or something? Burn the witch!
Do it.
Was that the end of the episode? Fucking... How long was that? How long was that? Oh, it was 18 minutes. Didn't feel like 18 minutes. Thank God I have a full turnaround for her now, at least. I love this musical sting. Well, I have like 8 million things to say and then absolutely no words for them whatsoever. I feel like my brain just went through a blender. I don't... What? Okay. I'm just gonna... hope my internet complies enough for me to scrub through this. But honestly, I'll take the fact that let me watch it uninhibited. So I'm glad that they're friends again. It's good. It's good that they're friends again. The thing, I do kind of wish that I feel like they do still need that moment of like, hey, what I said wasn't cool. Like, Ren still needs to properly apologize, because he did, he hasn't apologized yet. But I know that this is definitely like, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that later. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it, just because there are more important things right now. And it's really, really handy that Ren is using his semblance to be able to find them in the first place and be able to tell why Emerald... Okay, and I know everyone called it. I know everyone called it from, like, forever ago. But I'd like to state for the record that back in Volume 3 I said Emerald was gonna turn goat. And we all knew. We all knew from the beginning that she was gonna do it. We all knew. We all knew. But it's still nice to finally see it happen. It took 5 volumes for her to grow a conscience. It took 5 volumes for her to learn that maybe simping wasn't the way to get through life. Okay. It's good that she... It's literally just when she meets up with, like, literally when she meets up with the rest of Team RWBY Extended, which someone came up with a really funny name for it. It was the Fellowship of the something. I'm literally just gonna call it the Fellowship. When they meet up with the rest of the Fellowship, it's literally just gonna be like, it's gonna be, hi, Zuko here, with no amount of, no lacking of bitterness and resentment. I feel like in terms of, on a scale of Zuko coming back to the gang, how everyone's going to take it, I think there's going to be a few more Katars than there are going to be Aangs in this group. In that they're not going to take it immediately. If you can tell, my brain is scrambled like an egg. Because, God, a lot happened. Like, I know, like, I want to double check that I was correct. Like, okay, I did think so. So, freaking, I know Paul is a good director, but... it always gets me. Taco's alarmed. Hope y'all enjoyed my cat in the beginning. Okay. I'm glad that they're acting, and I'm glad that Ren even said, like, it's okay for you to be scared. You don't have to be all jokey about it, because someone needed to tell her. I do love that he's just like... I'm blanking out on what this pose is called, but you see it everywhere. It's like the intense... I dig it. And maybe it's because I'm basic, and because I'm bi. But I wanted to kiss all of them this entire episode. Literally, Ren and or Jean. Please DM me.
This is an extreme first.
Like, and despite the fact that he had that outburst, you can tell that he's doing better now that it's out of his system. Like, it very much is, he let the pressure out of the soda bottle. It still needs to be fully opened completely, but it was emptied enough that you can wait a little bit longer. Like, it was a steam vent, basically. He still has a lot more to let out, but we've taken some time. And I love how literally in the discussion yesterday, because I'm recording this on Monday and my video went public on Sunday, we were talking about how everyone's aura was doing, and a lot of people were saying, I think Jean's is pretty high. And I'm sitting here like, y'all, he's been a battery pack this entire time. They were going through the cold, which trashes their aura. Yeah, they slept, but who knows how long they slept for or how well. So it was gonna go down. Also, Ren's face there is so cute. He's literally just doing just the, Like, my cat makes that face. It's cute. I love Lai Ren. Have I ever mentioned how much I love Lai Ren? I love him. I love him. And I think it's safe to say that Jean has officially hit himbo status, because we know that he has become beefier since training and being a huntsman. He respects women, and he's kind of dumb. And just the fact that he blindly believed, like, the fact that it's good that we're both scared, and just the, not him. Just, I love him. I love him. I missed him. I got a lot of shit for it, and I didn't like Jean at the start, and that is a lot because of my own personal experiences, and I am aware of that fact, but also just because back in the days of Volume 1 and 2, like, it was really kind of frustrating to wait 2 or 3 weeks for a 4-minute episode and have that entire episode be about Jean's man angst, and that was just really frustrating to me, and I wasn't a fan of it. I got very frustrated with it, and I'm glad how much he's grown, and like there are still things where I'm like, yeah, I really wish that we got to see more of how Ren and Nora dealt with Pyrrha's death instead of just Jean, but he is genuinely a good boy, and he's like, he turned over that leaf. He has closed that book, he's moved on, and he is now allowed to wear a good boy shirt. And actually, if he didn't wear a shirt, I wouldn't complain. Because we've seen Ren shirtless, we haven't seen Jean shirtless, but that's not the point here. So Yang's face, there's the biggest mood. Okay. I really need to get the Remnant Fairy Tale book. I don't have it yet, but I like that. I like the girl who fell through the world. It's a very interesting idea, and it very much is that idea with, again, Lord of the Rings. Like, by the end of the journey, Frodo returned to the Shire, but he was no longer the same. He could not stay there because he had changed so much. And that is the very nature of the hero's journey. And it's that loneliness. And very much that you always dream and you hope for adventure, and then you kind of realize what it entails and the horrors of it and the sorrow and the loneliness. And that very much is what Oscar is dealing with right now. It really is just, I feel like of all of them, he has the most true, like, textbook hero's journey path. And you can really see him dealing with it in a way that's interesting because he is so much younger than them. The only one who's close to him is RWBY in terms of age, and even then she's 2 years older than him. But they kind of had a similar kind of ideology starting off with. And just the combination of him being physically injured and being so tired as he's discussing this thing he's so vulnerable and afraid of. It was a nice pairing. It was a nice storytelling move. And I feel like for once Ozpin said a good thing, which was just like, you're doing fine without me. Like, thank you, Ozpin, for not traumatizing this child further, for not being terrible. I'm like scrubbing through. I feel like I need to watch this another time just to make sure I got everything. Okay, seeing Team Funky in their whole getup really gives me whiplash when she's so little. She's so little. Also, I feel like they should have helmets, but I can't blame them for not putting them on. Like, thank God for Marrow. I'm just waiting for the are you defecting, son? Like, seeing them in the uniform, I feel like they would have been better off in their uniforms. You know, like the ones that they're used to fighting in. Especially because it looks like the main difference here is just the shoulder pad and the top armor. They could have worn the rest of their stuff, but like, Elysian military be like that, I guess. And you can see Winter she's struggling. God, and just the exchanges between those two. You can tell, like, it's trying to make it light, but what can you really do? And it's the knowledge that, again, you're sending these children out to fight your war. And you can see it, they're literally climbing out of the trenches. And even Marrow's they're just kids. It really is just, it all comes back to Salem's themes. Just the send your armies one and all, and in battle watch them fall. It's always just every single one of them always sending kids out to do it, and it's just, the rest of them are just taking it, but you can see Marrow, who is still just like, you guys have to understand exactly what it is you're doing. This isn't always the ends justifies the means. You have to be aware of what you're doing. they're all following in that same kind of mentality that Ironwood had at the end of last volume, with just like, sometimes I wonder if our humanity, like, the fact that we still have it is what gives her the advantage over us. It's very much that kind of thing, that kind of idea that we see reinforced here. Someone is retreating into anger to ignore all of her problems. I lost the tune there, my bad. I feel like Hazel turned coat a little quickly, if I'm being completely honest. Like, they did put the seeds in there, and maybe it's just because I haven't rewatched the early parts of the volume lately, but I feel like we kind of needed to see him think it over a little bit more, or even just put some indication that he was deliberating on what Oscar said in some of his earlier scenes. But so he just drags him there. This reminds me of something, but I can't remember what, but it looks neat as hell. Also, shout out to Jin, who's just taking the world's biggest fucking nap and then coming out to find out that someone accidentally went to the Wikipedia homepage and didn't actually have a question, and then promptly leaving. Like, if that isn't a fucking mood. My question is Neo functioning under her own orders, or is Neo acting under Cinder? That's what I'm wondering. Because I don't necessarily know why Cinder would want the lamp right now, when she's especially focusing just on Penny. But, like, she's focused on the maiden, she's focused on Penny. But, so I think this really is just Neo acting as Neo, as her own chaotic agent, local chaotic neutral showing up, of which props to her for working on her semblance as well. Although it is really funny that she just, like, hides all of her clothes like fucking Mystique. Like, is she really just naked the whole time and just using her disguising stuff to be clothed? Or is she hiding the clothes? That's the question here. I'm really glad that they started adding that in more, just seeing exactly how much of their aura is. That's a nice touch. That was such a nice touch of him trying to lean into the wall and immediately falling. And despite the fact that they are literally in a giant whale, they're still. We have team coping mechanism over here. I mean, it makes me soft. I love them. I'm sorry, this entire discussion is less actually discussing the episode and me just staring at these three with the hard eyes emoji. Like, they just... I'm glad they're not mad at each other anymore, or if they are, that they're not dealing with it right now. It just... Look at that face. I can't be sad when that face is there. It's interesting, because it is called the Seer Grim, but you don't see any eyes on it. And Emerald was able to hide herself, but the thing is, she creates visible illusions. So I guess she tweaked its perception of it so it didn't perceive her. Because I guess she does affect the mind directly and not create something in like a 3D space like Neo does. So never mind. That I was gonna say, it's a little weird that it would have been able to detect them, but... Okay, but seeing Ren double over and like how much he's focusing is just... They're really just going off with this volume, and I'm so proud of everyone who's working on it. Like, I want to know who did all these shots. So if this was Hazel the whole time, which is why she pulls him over and also explains the whole... They're so fucking lucky that thing screamed. The fear. I'm just always a fan of when a character has to act like another character in disguise. She has very interesting posing, and it's very fun to look at. And it's one of those cases where I wish this website had a frame-by-frame function, but alas, it does not. Charge headfirst into danger, but you know what? I love these kids! Look at this squad! Hey, Jean, pull out your sword, maybe. Please? Keep it out, maybe. Can you imagine the chaos of fighting there? Especially considering how many of them are still working in team attacks? Like, the sheer chaos of trying to stick... Like, how the hell Neon is able to keep a beat, I have no idea right now. But, like, the amount... You would accidentally run into people so many freaking times. Jesus Christ. Okay, he just scoop him. Lift your local boy! Pick him up in the head ruffles. He's so little. I always forget how short Oscar is. He's just a tiny boy. Thank God Ren has developed that ability, because otherwise this would have been a very awkward conversation to have. What? Okay. I want to double check something again. Marrow over here pleading. You can see her faltering too. She's trying really hard not to, but she is. So someone pointed out a theory about Winter actually having black hair like Jacques because her eyebrows are black, as if compared to Weiss, whose eyebrows are white, and it's really interesting, and I like to think about it, and it's kind of cursed, but it's also, it's blessed. It's at the same time, it's blurst. Gooey! It looks like the inside of Nemesis! Okay, they could have just jumped from there. They could have just jumped from there and it would have been fine. They could have just jumped from there and it would have been fine. I feel like that's the effect that Soul was screaming about. So there's her eyes doing the speaky thing. So it's interesting. So like we know that she fell into the pit. The grim pit. The grim goo pit. That's the correct order. And so she has clearly been grimified because she can talk to them. She has the color pattern. She has all the weird shit. She can communicate. Ooh, angry Yang. Yangry. I missed that the first time. I didn't notice her eyes were red. Ugh. That's the first time they've fought against magic. Like, they have no idea what they're expecting. But even that she's still being smart about it, she's... That is such a cool thing. I wanna know what they did with the arm there. I'm gonna be an animation nerd for a second. God, I need to frame by frame this. I wanna know who animated this. Oh, shout out to whoever had to manage all of those arcs. So she definitely has some of the stuff of like the Nuck, which I know it's like the Knuckle. I still can't say it properly. So I honestly thought Yang was going to detach her arm there. That's so neat and it makes sense, but it's like she is just completely unfucking amused. The conversation Yang had was interesting. Oh, and the fact that he's willing to merge with Ozpin to like get closer to that just to keep his friends safe makes me so emo. I'm gonna need to make a bad meme edit just for that one bit. Where'd it go? Face down, ass up. That's the way we get killed by a grim lady. So the fact that she says that line, the fact that she says you have been working on your semblance, it also calls to the fact that she knew that Cinder escaped that one time. Because that's something she deliberately said. That's something she explicitly said to Cinder and Neo, was I've been working a lot on my semblance. So the fact that she pulls that out specifically is not only just a threat, it's like a threat that, yes, I see how you've improved, but it is, I know everything that you have done. I have seen every movement of it. If you thought you could function beneath, like, outside of my gaze, you were wrong. It is a threat, and I love it. I also just love how the hair moves, but that's me. That's me. I'm a follow-through loving bitch. And she still doesn't know why he keeps coming back. So Ozma never told her that first time, but none of the incarnations since have ever made that clear either. I'm gonna put in my headphones. She is straight up about, like, I whole ass thought she was gonna dig her thumbs into his eyes. And I get that's the point. I get that that's the threat, that there's two pointy fingernails directly at his eye holes. But that is giving me anxiety just from here, from a distance. That is a hard pass, ma'am. Jesus, I'm gonna put these on because I want to hear again exactly what Yang says here. And especially, specifically her response is just her again.
Keep coming back.
Why do you?
Can we just appreciate Yang just fucking everyone up? Like, every time some crazy psycho nightmare mommy shows up and starts lecturing, she's developed this habit of calling them out on it. And I love it, because she did it with Raven, and she's doing it again with Salem here. And, like, I know that she's basically just trying to call her off Oscar and buy some time, but she also brings up some good points.
Endless death. Because something bad happened to you once upon a time? Nobody gets a fairy tale ending.
But you can see she's just done. She's heard this before, like...
Everything I've lost, every person I've lost, is because of you.
And who is it I've taken from you, girl?
Not to quote, not to quote the Mortal Kombat movie. But it really is just like the day General so-and-so invaded your village was the worst day of your life. But to me, it was a Tuesday. It really is. It is just that. It is. You made, like, that moment defined you. That was just any other thing to me. Like, it really shows off that insignificance.
Summer Rose, my mom.
But also the fact that like, she refers to Summer as her mom a couple times, as like super mom and whatnot. But her mom has always been Raven, and you can always kind of tell with how she refers to it. She refers to, like, the first one was my mom. Is that you could tell she always kind of referred to Summer as secondary when using the word mom. Is that there was mom, who was Raven, and then there was Summer, who was more of a mom but what did not have the title. And especially after this whole exchange with Raven, you can tell she's just like, no. Birth my ass. Summer Rose is my mother. And I'm very glad that she's kind of had that progression, because so much of her life she had defined herself by those questions and getting answers for them. And now that she more or less has them, she's kind of come to a closure for it. But this.
Her again.
That lens shift, camera lens change was a nice choice. It's her amusement there that puts me off. Just the her again. Like, I said this before in the chat. I know a lot of people think that Summer Rose ended up becoming a hound, or is still one, and that people are gonna see them around, and that we'll have that moment where Ruby sees Summer. I don't think that's the case. I really don't buy into that theory. Like, I can see how people arrived there, but I can't see it happening. Now, I could be totally wrong. I have been before. Just look at the end of Volume 7 where I was like, Salem's not gonna come in person, and literally the next scene, Salem shows up with your pizza delivery in 30 minutes or less. So, like, I've been wrong before. But like, I can't really... I don't see that coming in this instance. And especially the way that she's handling it, and the way that pairs with the scene with Ruby. Where it's like, your mother said that. Is that it makes me wonder how much she was playing with Ruby there, because the fact that she's like, her again. So it could echo the fact that Ruby really is the spitting image of her mother. So she saw Ruby and was like, oh yeah, the last person who came to piss me off. Yeah, I remember her. I'm gonna fuck with this one. I'm gonna mess with her, see what happens. And Yang looks nothing like her, so that's probably part of it. But the way she says that, and I still have Salem pulled up on my screen, and I feel like I feel like this is the setup for the meme where it was just like, yeah, you're my little pug champ. And I hate it so much. But, I have to change the frame. I literally, now that I said it, I can't unsee it. It's just like, yeah, you're my little pug. That's literally all I can see with this frame, and I have to change it. I have to change it off to something else. There we go, that's better. Just her again, is that I feel like Summer really did have a big role to play against Salem's plans, and just the way that Crow also phrased it when Ruby asked, was she away on an Ozpin thing? It was like, no, it was a Summer thing. It makes me wonder if she had done that before, if she occasionally went off to do those things, or very much that idea of Summer could tell that Ozpin's plan wasn't necessarily going to work, so she started working on her own. Not unlike how Ruby is doing, where Ozpin's plan wasn't super working, and she took what he had and built on top of it, and is improvising and changing it as they go. But it's that intrigues me. It doesn't so much scare me, it's just her again. Because it either comes off as, oh, that was something insignificant, which I don't think is the case, or is when she's realizing that there's another way to play the chess piece that is Yang, is that she didn't initially put together the fact that she could use Summer Rose against Yang as well. Because one thing about Ruby's kind of mental breakdown when they ran into Salem was that memory, is that it wasn't clear if that was, like, we see that memory the first time when she uses her silver eyes, like in Volume 6, when she does it intentionally. Then we see that other version of it. And one thing that's always mentioned is that we hear people talk about how Ruby dealt with her mother. We never hear Ruby talk about it. And I feel like that's something that's been very deliberate, is that it's almost always the same thing. It's always like, Ruby was too young to understand. She was too young to understand. She was too old. She was too young to know what was going on. And I don't really think that was the case. Like, yeah, she was little, but I feel like, especially with that last scene, I feel like Ruby came across Summer once more after everyone else. Like, I feel like Summer went out to do her thing, and maybe Ruby was outside playing in the garden or just playing, and came across her mother, like, at one moment. Or maybe her mother stopped by just for one last look at home from a distance, and Ruby saw her, and they had a moment. And it may not even have been a happy moment. It may have been really messed up. Honestly, I think that's probably where it might be leaning, where Ruby saw something as a kid that shook her, and that's what Salem tapped into, was that moment where it was that Ruby had more or less repressed that kind of moment where, like, she just kept the part that was like, oh yeah, the joy of seeing her mom, but with everything going on, it's dusting off the cobwebs off the part of that memory that are less pleasant. Like, I can't see I can't see Summer Rose being a hound. Like, if anything, she may have been one of the experiments, but I feel like this is a relatively new experimentation thing, especially considering we have Salem giving Cinder the beetle to use to get the Fall Maiden's powers, which likely also played a role in Cinder getting her Grim arm. I imagine it was that led to part of the inspiration for the Hound in the first place. Now, it's true that, like, there aren't that many Silver-Eyed Warriors, so maybe he's been on ice for a while, or she's been working on him specifically for a while, but I feel like the creation of the Hound happened in between the fall of Beacon and now, and most of the experimentation happened between the fall of Beacon and now. I feel like she may have done some work on Silver-Eyed Warriors, but I think it was always a matter of, it is a little bit too dangerous to keep them so close. Best find ways to exterminate them from a distance through proxies first, which is why you have talk going after Maria. Is very much these puppeteering different groups, leading different groups, just turtles all the way down in order to get things done. Very much how she did everything back at Beacon. She never interfered directly. It was always through Shadow Organization that owned a Shadow Organization. Like, I feel like that's how the Silver-Eyed Warriors got to where they were in the first place, was that they were being hunted under her behest, on her behest. So I feel like it could have even been just like when you play a fetch quest for a video game and you have to kill an enemy a lot in order to get all the research material for it, like in Dragon Age. I feel like that's how that situation was. But it's just that her again. It's just interesting. I feel bad. I did have a moment where she's just like, everyone I've lost. It was like, you've lost like just like all the people who died. I'm just like, you lost like 2 people. Or I was like, you lost 1 person. You lost someone. And then my brain was like, hey, dumbass. She was friends with Pyrrha too. And I was like, fuck. My bitch ass who loves Greek fire forgot. I was getting a condescending look from Salem over here. I gotta change the frame. So Hazel's dead, right? That fight was very nice. I forgot to mute the desktop audio again. I feel like they used the name Gretchen a little bit too much. This could just be because I had a dog named Gretchen growing up, but it kind of got a little close to just the save Martha. It kind of had that same energy to me, but it could also just be this very nature of saying a name or a word so many times over and over again that it loses its meaning. But yeah, I think my biggest thing with this episode is I wish we got to see a little bit more of Hazel's thought process in changing his mind, but I am very glad that he changed his mind. Skip ahead to where he's in combat. I do like watching Salem fight, but I feel like this really solidifies an idea that I kind of had of, when they fight Salem, I don't know if it's going to be an all-out brawl. I don't think it's going to be fighting hand-to-hand combat like we've seen this whole show. Like, there's going to be more to it than that. Because I feel like fighting one-on-one like this, even if it is multiple people, I don't think that they could win. Just the very nature of her. I don't know. Also, if you think about it, if Hazel ever got shoved, he would probably just spontaneously combust, because he has all of those dust crystals on him at all times. If you just like push him wrong and he hits a wall, he's gonna combust in like 8 different kinds of dust. He does look really cool when he's all powered up, though. That's some Genshin Impact combining element shit. It's also interesting, just dust versus magic, because that's something we haven't really seen. It's just fun to look at. It's a fun fight to look at. And you can tell that he is very good at fighting and using different dust to his advantage. And she just lets him beat the shit out of her, because she knows she can win. She does not fear death. She knows she can't die, so she's like, sure, punch the shit out of me, see what happens. I do wish Oscar left with the group, because little boy, you are what she is after. Every time her face reforms, I die inside a little bit. You know? Like, ugh. It's just grody. It's just grody, and I don't like it. So we're finally unlocking the secrets of the cane, though. We're finally... It really is just burning a witch at a stake. Which is so... God, this sequence is so cool. His little face! But we're finally finding out what the cane can do! And I'm curious what is going to be left of Oscar after this. Because he says every time he uses... I muted myself! Every time he uses magic, he feels them, like, merging more. This is a big one. This is a big use of magic. So I'm wondering how much of Oscar will be there when it's over. And I guess we'll probably have to wait 2 plus weeks to find out, because let's be real, the next one's gonna be following Team RWBY. I don't think we're gonna find out what happens in this blank void next week. I would love if we did, but I don't think we are. I need to frame through this. I need to screen record this episode and frame through all the animation, because holy shit. Oh my god. I'm still just like, Yang, why did you start punching her? This is like the one thing in the world you can't punch. Why did you start punching her? My brain is just a scrambled mess of holy shit right now. Like, if you were to crack open my skull, it would just be alphabet soup arranged to different swear words and question marks and exclamation points. So I'll see you guys next week. Because, what the fuck? This should be on time, because I'm recording on time. So, huzzah. Come watch me stream on Wednesdays. I swear I have coherent things to say. Happy Valentine's Day a week late. I almost said Merry Christmas. What the fuck? Be safe out there. Goodbye.